wish I had called it the style whisperer. Style being an abstract noun, you can't actually whisper to it the way you can, whisper to a dog or whisper to a horse. I really play with language. I like to take a more lax, witty, and whimsical approach with my writing. So I invent words, or I do a lot of parentheticals, and I try to just really play with my style in a way. So for me, that's the creative space of the Clothes Whisperer.
Who are your style icons, past or present?
For me, a true style icon is Franca Sozzani. She's someone I really look up to in terms of her approach to fashion. I really like Bianca Jagger and also Audrey Hepburn. A little bit cliche, but they're style icons for a reason.
What store windows inspire you most?
Selfridges. I mean, they really do a great all-out job with their windows, and I like it when they bring in different young designers to curate sort of different spaces. I grew up in New York, and I'm a Barney's girl. They seem to be evolving in a way that's more interactive and more playful. It's been really interesting to see sort of an integration of digital aspects into windows, how you can kind of scan QR codes, or some windows will have live tweets coming through. Like I know when they did the Gaga pop-up at Barney's, they had the sort of the Twitter wall in the window.
So how do you feel about Imagine Fashion and what they're doing then?
I mean, I think it's a really great concept. I think it says a lot about what's happening with store windows. If, a website dedicates their blog to that as a topic, they must be having a lot more to say.
How would you describe your dress and your tastes?
It's pretty low maintenance because I've been traveling, so my wardrobe has sort of been confined to a suitcase. So I've kind of been sick of a lot of things in that suitcase, like a really beautifully cut white shirt, sort of the item I wouldn't go anywhere without right now. And I know that's a really boring answer, I'm sorry. Lately, I've been a lot more inspired by menswear rather than women's wear, because I think there's still very much so an element of design, of fashion design, of cutting clothes, and innovating in that sphere rather than at the level of styling. So a lot of what you see during women's wear, you're kind of like, well, I could go home to my closet and recreate that look. It's just about the way they've put it together that feels fresh. But the vibe around women's wear is always much more exciting, especially amongst the youth culture, sort of girls and boys in their teens, maybe through their late 20s. It's starting to conform. You look at women kind of 35, 40 and up, then you get much more of a local identity. But with everyone looking at street style blogs and seeing, okay, well, this sort of hipster phenomenon has become really global. You can find it anywhere, and a girl could be dressed in LA, or she could be in Peru, or she could be in Berlin, and it could be the same girl.
So how do you feel kind of like online, the internet has brought fashion trends closer together on a global level?
The period of time for the dissemination of the information is much shorter, and I think the luxury brands have been really savvy. I mean, if you look at Burberry being the obvious sort of case in point, click to buy straight off the runway. I mean, I really think that's the future of where luxury brands will be going.
What collaborative projects are you currently working on or just finished?
I collaborated on an app with Emporio Armani, which was kind of like a city guide of different cities around the world in conjunction with the Olympics. Revlon and Vogue on their All Access app. And my biggest project actually isn't a collaboration because I'm working on my first novel.
And what kind of thing are you writing about?
I'm writing about fashion blogging.
So how do collaborations come to you?
Sometimes collaborations come about because you really love a brand and you have an idea and you're passionate about it, so you put together a pitch. But a lot of times some of the best ones, they just land in your inbox, like most bloggers. You have to wear very many hats. I mean, the blog is very much a platform for whatever sort of skill you want to showcase, be it styling, presenting, writing, and for me, it always started with writing. That was the bottom line. When collaborations and collaborators come to you, you have to be really open-minded in terms of adapting what it is that you're, like we were talking about earlier, how I ended up being thrown into some styling work on account of my blog. It's not something I ever trained to do, something I ever saw myself doing. But I think keeping an open mind, being flexible, is key towards advancing your business, because then you get to see what resonates with your readers, and maybe you tap into skills you didn't know you had. I would just love to do a collaboration with, like, Clothes Whisperer for Samsonite, like the ultimate blogger suitcase or the ultimate fashion week suitcase. It's lightweight, that tells you when it's overweight, has pockets for all your different, your iPod, your camera, and your laptop.
So it seems like you have a bit of kind of an inventive streak in you. What other hidden hobbies do you have?
I have a master's degree in literature, so it's not really a hidden hobby, but I love to read and write. I mean, I write fiction in my spare time. It's not about fashion, as well as working on my novel. But mostly, I mean, I love to be with my dog, and I love to travel. So I'm a very kind of a middle-aged woman already.